Good evening, and welcome to the magical world of Total Package Podcast. This evening, I am your host, Grims, and I am joined today by Casper, Bethany, Kat, Ams, and Chan. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hello.
As you see in the title, this week's
doing?
episode is about Disney. So please join us, ask any questions in the comments, and let's get right started into this. So with Disney, there's of course a lot of characters out there. So ladies, let's talk about some of our favorite characters that we have when it comes to Disney.
Man, that's a hard question.
I can start. I'm actually wearing my favorite. It's kind of a cheat, but they're a duo, which is Chip and Dale have always been my favorite.
Oh, I love
Good
it.
one. Good one.
Yeah. I've never been a really Disney princess one. But Chip and Dale were always my favorite. I remember watching all the little shorts they had. The one that always stands into mind is the one where they're all collecting apples, and then the apples keep falling out.
Apple
and then
core, see no more.
Yeah.
Who's your friend? Me, throw the apple.
Yeah, there's that one. And then, of course, the one where they're both trying to seduce the same girl. So those are the ones that really stand out. Yeah, those have always kind of been there, as well as Rescue Rangers. But Chip and Dale, love them. Sorry, go ahead.
I still own the DVD.
Nice.
That has that video, the short one with the apples.
Yep.
Nice.
Super sweet, man.
How about you, ladies?
I love the Christmas special from them. That was my favorite when they were like running around in the tree and making the ornaments fall. Yeah, that one was cute.
I'd have to say Goofy's my favorite Disney character all time.
Surprising.
No, yeah, I love that guy. He's the best.
Anything in particular that stands out about him?
Just everything. He's just a very just the clumsiness and I don't know, the comedy in that always made me laugh. There's just something really funny about the whole deal. I love the show. The whole everything about Goofy is probably the best. I'd say. Nothing wrong with Goofy at all whatsoever.
Random question about that. Was Goofy, there was this Night Disney short, where they were medieval times type thing. Was that technically Goofy, or was that a different character as a whole? I've always wondered that.
It's an old one, but I think it was supposed to be Goofy.
Okay. I think, or at least the Goofy clan.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of Goofy, family members, I think.
How about any of you, Bethany Yams?
I'd say mine would be Eeyore. I don't know, something about Eeyore.
Yes,
it's just always.
My favorite.
Sorry.
Two people, I guess.
Awesome.
I love him so much.
How can you not?
Something about him, he's just like, whatever.
Nothing matters.
If you say so, no one likes me. It's just that something about it.
I can't blame you. He's probably my second favorite. Yep.
Yeah, you just want to pick him up and hug him and tell him everything's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you just want to love him. It's okay, Eeyore. I love you. Okay,
He'd be the perfect guy to be perfect character to just hang out and have coffee with. Because he wouldn't just sit there and just be like, whatever.
I feel like all of the characters from Winnie the Pooh you kind of just want to pick up and take home with you and hang out and just, Christopher Robin was a lucky freaking kid.
Oh, I know.
Oh yeah. I loved watching the TV show 100 Acre Woods.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
That was one of my favorite shows.
The relationship between Piglet and Pooh is probably my favorite thing about that
so sweet
show. Yeah.
So sweet.
And the Heffalumps and Woozles.
Yes. Yeah.
I actually have all those pops.
Yeah. I actually, we're going to get off of the Winnie the Pooh. I think I'm more like Mulan, even though she's not necessarily my favorite, but I see myself in her.
Just a strong female character taking charge.
I like the fact that she made mistakes. Mm-hmm. Totally not a girly girl, ended up, messing up. and then redeeming herself in the end. And I feel like that's like a huge lesson for life. And I just like identify with that.
Well,
I
she was
would
a
say same
badass with the sword.
Yeah. Same with Merida
True.
from Brave.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It
How
resonated
about
with her a
you?
lot. She's very strong.
How about you,
My
Kat? Do you have a favorite?
Honestly, out of just all the characters, totally, I've always been a fan of Pluto, the dog.
Oh.
Just 'cause he's like he doesn't.
I can imagine. I can see why.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a no-brainer for me, but the fact that like he was always so expressive, but he never had to use his word, never used words.
Okay.
You know, I loved how he communicated without doing it. But in terms of the princesses, I think Mulan. I agree with you. She's just kick-ass. You know, I never went for the rescue me. I need to be rescued type. I went for the I'm going to rescue my damn self.
Oh, yeah,
Definitely. So
I'm gonna take charge, and I'm gonna do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of why I've liked Belle, because Belle's like the kind. She's like, I don't need you to rescue me. I'm gonna rescue you.
No,
yes, going after
And,
her
like,
father.
Yeah, she went out to get her father, and she was the one who actually rescued the beast at the end. It wasn't him rescuing her.
Mhm.
So that's why like she's just that badass bitch who's like, fuck all y'all, I'm doing what I want to do. In a town that thought she was an outcast, she was just like, I don't
yeah,
care.
'cause she liked to read, which pissed me off.
Why reading in particular?
Well, they did. She was like she loved to read, and they thought that wasn't that wasn't good. You know, that was the. But I love to read.
Odd.
Well, I mean,
Mhm.
it was in that time period odd for a woman to read.
True.
Like
Very
that.
true.
Yeah.
For anybody to read, because if you think about it, Gaston didn't know how to read either.
Yeah.
No, it was mostly like aristocrats that really knew how to read and had education. So, of course, a town full of like, regular people would think it was any education at all and enjoyed it. Like, she's a weirdo.
Mhm.
She knows
Yeah.
stuff.
And the fact that
Talks
she'd
from
rather
her,
read
read.
than like chase after
Yeah.
guys.
It's
Well,
fabulous.
I
She
always
doesn't want to
respected
spend her
that,
life being a wife, being something of that nature. She
Mhm.
wants the freedom of the
Yeah.
adventure, of the something
Mhm.
else.
Yeah.
And I've always been a huge reader, so like I actually really respected her because she wanted to read. She didn't want to, that was her thing. She loved reading, and like that's pretty much what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking to y'all or hanging out with family. I'm reading.
Do you find it really
Yeah.
funny that a lot of the women in the Disney stories, or even I guess it would be fairy tales in general, are women who are kind of odd outcasts that turn into the princess kind of person, like Ariel, she just wanted to get out and get away and go walk and be somewhere else and all this. I always thought that was great.
Sorry, but near the end, I just was like, Ariel,
they chose to
come
be
on. I don't know. There are times where Ariel, just like,
You're over the Little Mermaid. You're just over it.
I just don't think it's that. It's just, I think it's as we get older, they say, you start to agree with like the parents, and it's like, I'm 16, I'm
Start
so
seeing the
I'm
other
like,
side of
no,
it,
you're
essentially.
not.
I can't stand Ariel. I hate her.
Yeah.
She's my
I
least
think one of my
favorite out of all the characters.
Interesting.
I don't like Sleeping Beauty. I don't know, something about her.
Aurora?
Just Aurora. Yeah,
Aurora.
I'm just.
She's probably,
She's a
if I could
princess.
say, she's the most useless, I would probably say, out of all of them.
And Snow White.
Snow White.
And Snow
yeah, I was
White.
going to say Snow
I'm
White.
sorry, Snow White
I agree
is
with
just
Snow
like,
White. Yeah.
I mean, Snow White
Right.
at least still clean and took care of, which is the traditional woman role, but she at least was trying to fit in a sense. But Aurora, she was just more like protected and taken away, and then she was enticed back in to prick her finger
I
on.
think one of my other favorite princesses is Tatiana from Princess and the Frog,
Mm-hmm.
because she really was
Oh, no.
a go-getter. I mean, like
Tiana.
she was like Tiana. Thank you.
Mhm.
Like working like 3 jobs.
She was just
Mm,
definitely
and
the self-made style
Yeah.
woman. Like, it's all about what I'm going to do and what I like in my fantasy.
And
Can I
a
be
colored woman
honest?
in that time too.
Can I be like seriously honest with you guys? I find fairy tales very annoying. Like, I don't really like any of them.
Now, is it the fairy tale, like, because it's the Disney version or
No.
the original style
In-
version?
Just in general, any fairy tales, I never really connected truly with any of them. I always thought that they were a little, I don't know.
Well,
just
the
never.
problem is a lot of times Disney will take a fairy tale and spin it, but if you actually go back and read some of the true, some of the true fairy tales, they're actually very gruesome.
They're very,
Like Cinderella is very gruesome.
Rose Red
with The
was
Little
probably
Mermaid.
my favorite of all of them, which is kind of a disturbing fairy tale if you read the original.
And same with Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid's disturbing at
she
the
kills
end.
herself at the end, doesn't she?
Same way with the Frozen, that original tale did not.
Yeah, they weren't sisters. I was watching like that they just felt that it was better bond and more relatable if they were sisters. Instead, they were actual evil queen and the princess being attacked type situation.
Yeah.
I don't. What is that originally from? What is it? What is that?
Snow Queen, I think it's.
Snow Queen.
Oh my gosh, they really twisted that, didn't they?
Yeah,
it's the same author who made The Little Mermaid.
Yeah,
But Disney took
I haven't seen
oral
Frozen.
tales that were trying to teach life lessons and teach stories. So you just teach like behavior.
If you
totally
want to know,
turn them into entertainment.
if you truly want to know how some of these fairy tales are, watch Into the Woods.
No, I love that.
If you could get past the singing, you see just how gruesome some of these fairy tales are.
I like the singing. I don't care. The singing's fine.
Well, after you've been in the pit orchestra for it, after a while, that music you're like, I'm done with it. For the longest time, after I was like, I can't, because you hear the same music over and over again for months.
I was in a symphony and it was the same way. You just hear the music and you're like, no, please stop.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I could say the lines as the actors are on the stage, and I would get them. I would do them better than they could, because I just listened to it over and over again.
Yeah.
Becomes second nature for your cues and things of that nature.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was in a play back maybe 25, 30 years ago. And I still remember the lines from that because of it. So yeah, I get it.
I was actually Daisy Duck, in a play in 5th grade.
That's awesome.
No, it wasn't.
So cute.
Well, what they did was, I was new to that school that year. And so they decided during the chorus concert, because everyone had to do chorus, that the new kids would do a little play scene so that all the students could see us and get to know us.
Oh.
Good way to embarrass a child in a new location.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Talk about hazing.
Yeah.
That was kind of how school used to be, though. Like, it was very, now it's all like, sit in the sharing circle and
don't
be
worry.
friends.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Before it used to be like, yeah, you're the weird kid. Let's put you in front of everyone and make you
trial by fire.
Yeah.
We know your parents don't have.
Put her a duck head on her head and duck feet on her feet and make her go on the stage. Yeah.
So kind of a similar style note. Doesn't necessarily need to have your favorite character, but do you have a favorite Disney movie that is something different in particular?
I have a few.
What will be the favorite movie?
Pete's Dragon is mine. I'll just get that out of the way.
Thank you. Yes, you took it from me. the original
poor Ames. Ames just had her taken away.
We're all like, it's all right.
What is it about that movie that draws you to it to say it's your favorite?
Just the storyline.
for me.
I think. Yeah.
I've actually never seen it. What is it about?
Oh, the original. You have to see the original.
Neither have seen it.
It was
see the original.
It was so ahead of his time. It was live action and animated combined damn near seamlessly. You had the dragon, he could turn himself invisible. And I love this.
It was the sweetest little goofy thing ever.
And then you would have there's a scene in the beginning of the movie where Elliot is the main character. He's this orphan kid who's trying to run away from these horrible people that try to that bought him. They literally bought him, and they're gonna have him work as a farmhand. They don't love him at all. So the dragon. Oh, I'm sorry. No, the dragon's name is Elliot. Forgot the kid's name.
Yeah.
No, that's the kid's name.
That's Pete.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Pete.
So he took Pete away, and there's a scene where Pete is sitting on Elliot's stomach. This is in the 70s, and he looks like he's sitting on the dragon, and he's fully animated, fully interacting with this kid, and I'm just like,
and the dragon's breathing, and he's going up and down.
And giving an apple to him, and it was just like it was the best movie. It was so cute.
Oh, I had forgotten about that movie.
See, at that point in time, that was like Disney was seriously innovative when it came to animation at all whatsoever. Like the underwater scenes from Pinocchio, that was like all brand new, innovation as far as animation went. And that was one of the things that put Disney on the map, was the fact that they were so innovative and doing that whole animation and live action stuff. Bedknobs and Broomsticks, they did it in that.
I love that movie.
I
that movie. Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
Herbie. Mary Poppins.
The Herbie movies. I love the Herbie movies.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you think about it, if you go back to that time framing and you think about innovation in movies, Disney really did corner the market in doing that kind of stuff and made it really, really awesome too, because who knew? How could you tell? I understand we were children, but even our parents watched that stuff, and we're like, we don't mind watching this because it's got so-and-so in it. And I watch Murder, She Wrote, and whatever, so it's it's one of those things.
Hey, that's a good TV show.
No, I know.
And they still hold up today, whereas a lot of the older ones don't from other places.
Right. And along with Pete's Dragon, I don't like the new one. They remastered it, remade it, did a new one. I've seen trailers for it, and I haven't actually watched the whole thing. I don't want to.
Actually, it's not bad. At first, I wasn't sure I was going to like it. I liked the old one. I wasn't sure if I was going to like the new one. It was okay in its own right, but it wasn't the same.
Oh, dude, what was the one with Don Knotts? Where he turned into a fish. Do you guys remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Something about Mr. Lippet or something.
Yeah, that's it.
The Incredible
Mr. Toad or something.
The Incredible Mr. Limpet.
That was a good one too. Anyway, come on, more favorites.
You've already said mine. Bedknobs and Broomsticks and Rescuers. Yes.
Oh, I love the Rescuers. That was
but which one? Which one? The original or Down Under?
Of course, the original.
You gotta give Down Under.
The original.
I like the one Down Under, but Rescuers, with Penny, when they first started,
and little swamp rats,
and
I have one of the original Christmas ornaments from Rescuers.
Wow,
so love it.
Love it.
It's like a felt, it's like felt. I still have it. I still hang it on my Christmas tree.
You guys think it's kind of wild? I still have. I do not own a VCR, but I still have
a VCR.
I don't own one anymore, but I still own my original VHS tape of Bedknobs and Broomsticks because my grandfather taped it for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
We had a VCR, and we didn't. And so if there was a Disney thing on that I really wanted, he would tape it for me. So he taped Bedknobs and Broomsticks, and he taped. You guys remember they used to do Walt Disney specials every now and then?
Those are great.
At night, and he would tape all those for me. He'd even sit there and pause it so there weren't any commercials.
That's so great. That's
I think sometimes
amazing.
the commercials were the best part because you get to go back and see the commercial and go, oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, but he would actually sit there and pause it, and he never missed a cue. He cut out all the commercials for me, so when I was a little girl, I could watch them.
Do you remember the commercials that they would run across the screen? It was French fries and a box of popcorn and a hot dog.
Yeah.
It's time for intermission. I actually have one of those in I have one of those old signs in my downstairs here.
That's great.
Oh, that's so cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Mine was already mine is a bread. Oh, was
Go ahead. Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Mine was Bedknobs and Broomsticks and Mary Poppins. I think would be my two. all-time favorites. And I actually really enjoyed the new Mary Poppins, the sequel.
I've been meaning to watch that.
I didn't see that.
I didn't see it yet either.
I actually found it very entertaining because they definitely made it a little more adult friendly with some of the jokes because they had a lot of really bad British humor in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
I do like Emily
British
Blunt.
humor.
She's actually very good with all that type of stuff.
So
And
amazing.
I love her.
probably by picking her, they knew that it was a solid choice in terms of it because some people are hesitant about those remakes or continuation, I should say,
Mhm.
with a new person.
Yeah, I
But
still
since
am.
She is a beloved person
Oh,
already
yeah.
in her own that she
Uh-huh.
could step into that role with no problem, which is nice. She didn't seem to get much flack for the role, which is good.
That's good.
Well, along that same line, I think we should also mention The Sound of Music. That was an iconic movie to stand the test of time. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Super good.
I used to watch that one a lot. My mom always had it, and I would put it on the VHS and whatnot. I always only liked the beginning because it came in two tapes, so I didn't really care to watch the second one so much.
I
You know,
remember that so well.
once the Nazis come on in, then it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm done. Like, it was kind of like I'm done with all that stuff. But I like
Well,
all
do you
the
wanna know-
Hanging like that?
Well, you know something funny is over there where it was supposedly filmed. It's not a big hit.
No,
They're
it's
like,
not.
yeah,
Oh, what?
Mm-mm.
yeah, it's not a beloved film like it is here.
I'll tell you
that's
one.
so weird.
I'll tell you one that I liked. It was called Shipwrecked. It's one of the not as well known, but it's
I'm not familiar
pirate.
with it.
It's pirates.
Yeah.
Pirates.
It's pretty good.
Oh, okay.
It's a good one. It's definitely
And-
worth checking out.
And
Yeah.
any pirates, it's got to be the Muppets Treasure Island.
Oh, you love the Muppets. Oh my god.
Not Pirates of the
Muppets
Caribbean.
Treasure Island.
You're gonna.
Don't give me
What's
started on Muppets, man.
I love Muppets. My favorite Muppets.
Of course, for you. Yeah.
My favorite Muppets were the ones that were up in the balcony, like the old men.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah.
curmudgeons. The
Mhm.
curmudgeons.
The
Yeah.
curmudgeons.
Yeah.
It's
They
actually
were the
funny
best
because
sarcastic assholes that you'll ever meet.
well, because you remember
Just
the
because it's
Muppets,
like me.
yeah, the Muppet Show, and they had the phenomenon,
Yeah.
phenomenon, and at the end, the guy was like, "What's the phenomenon?" Better question is, who cares?
Yeah.
Oh, that puppy dog.
Did you want to say hi,
Oh.
Maisie?
Hello.
How's Chewy doing?
Smelly.
Still?
Anyway.
Oh,
Audrey, what's your favorite? You didn't say.
No, mine happens to be Aladdin. If I could say a
Oh.
movie that is a favorite, like overall, that I
like
could probably
that.
say from beginning to end that I actually really love, it's got to be Aladdin. Almost every single song that I love. Probably the first one's the only one I really don't like.
Oh,
Yeah, but
Riff Rat.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
got a lot of those emotional things. Jasmine is, of course, more independent, wants to be an independent woman type thing. You got,
Mhm.
I never knew this, but I had seen that, I guess Aladdin originally was supposed to have a mom, but then they decided
Oh.
that it wasn't going to be a good fit for it because it wasn't, the orphan thing was a little bit better of a thing. And he was supposed to have like a lot of the relationship with the mom and all that type of stuff in it. But I couldn't imagine that. But yeah, I mean, probably just one of the best performances, I guess, with like Robin Williams and just the genie and how that role was for
Absolutely.
him.
love it.
It was, and
Love
I
it.
don't
Oh,
think
man. Missed that
that's
man.
probably a great
Me too.
character, honestly.
And most of that he ad-libbed.
Yes.
Most of the genie was ad-libbed. He
That's
just
the best
they
part.
just said they were like, you have free range. Just
Yeah, like this is
Do
what
it.
the point we need to get to. Let's get to that
Yeah.
point.
Of all the
Yes,
cartoon
here,
movies,
here, here, here,
that
here,
one
here,
is
here.
one of my favorites too. I love the whole Arabian.
Mhm.
the beginning with
I don't know,
the
whole
peddler
beginning
in
is-
his cart.
Whatever. Yeah, from the beginning. Like I hear like the first line from that movie, I know exactly what it is. Like first word, even like the note hits, I know it's on.
Mhm.
I love the
combination of
beginning with the
coffee maker.
peddler and he's got
Well,
his
not very
cart.
good.
It's like
I think my sisters, so we're all 5 years apart, and I think that my sisters almost broke that VHS because it was played.
Oh, apparently when
all
I was
the
a kid, I did the
time.
same thing. I
Yeah.
watched it so many times, it just wore out. I didn't
good.
remember.
So good.
Well, has anyone seen the new one? Because it's on
No.
Disney Plus, and I watched
No.
it.
I
It's actually
How
pretty
is it?
good. I give it a pretty good. I mean, you got to give over the fact that it's live action. It's going to be kind of hooky or kooky or what hokey. I can't think of the word, but like hokey. That's not good. But
Will Smith kind of like. I wasn't quite sure how I'd feel about Will Smith as the genie, especially after the epic Robin Williams.
Yes,
yeah, you can't really follow him up.
That's why those are shoes you can't fill.
And I love Will Smith.
Once again, a big personality to kind of do it. I don't think he mimicked in any way because he didn't really quite do that same. It was always just kind of his own. I would say that I didn't like the Friend Like Me so as much. I mean, Robin Williams was the best, but Will Smith was decent enough. It just too much rap in that sense. It's like it doesn't fit the genre, I would probably say. But I mean, it's his genre, so.
See, I can't get over it not being Robin Williams. Like I grew up like watching that VHS. I love Robin Williams. That's what made me a fan of his.
Yeah,
I just can't get over it. Like I have no interest in seeing a remake. I don't care who it is. I'm just
to me, I would probably say Will Smith is a little bit different, though. He still makes it his own role. He's definitely not trying to mimic it. It's like how he would have interpreted the genie as a character. If I could give any credit to it. The only thing is
this generation. So.
Yeah. But apparently the guy who played Aladdin is getting no work, though. Like he's unfortunately got typecast where no one wants to give him a shot.
Oh, that
sucks.
Kind of.
This was actually pretty good.
Yeah, they don't want to. But the girl who's Jasmine, who was actually the Pink Ranger in the live action movie, she's getting roles. She's now in Charlie's Angels. Not that that did good, but like she's been doing stuff still too. You did not like that.
I'm sorry. I think a lot of it is just some of the actresses in Charlie's Angels. I'm just like, I just don't think they're good.
I didn't see it. Not the new one. I saw the old Charlie's Angels.
I didn't see it. I just saw the previews. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
So
I love the old Charlie's Angels.
Me too.
I did like the two with the Cameron Diaz and Lucy Liu.
Yeah. And, that was a good one. Yeah, I like that.
Oh yeah.
I like the camaraderie between them.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. They seem like friends. So we talked a lot about memories and things of that nature, but what would you think is like the first memory that you really like sticks out of what is Disney to you?
My grandfather and his tape.
There you go. I have a very strong one. I think I don't know if we went to Disney World or Disneyland, but it was when I think we went to Disney World, and then there was this ride that was at the very start of the park. It was a Snow White ride. And you remember the part of the movie where she's running through the woods and she sees the shapes in the trees and she gets all spooked and passes out and faints? They built a ride off of that. So it was dark. It was scary. It had the creepy trees popping out at you. And we were waiting in line and my parents were like, oh yeah, this is great. You'll be fine. You'll love it. And I was like, what? 5 or something like that, and I was just like, no, I don't want to go through it. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. No. Like I said, the classic kid things. I'm bored. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I need to go. And then we started going through it, and I was just like terrified. I'm just like, why am I here? I don't want to be here. But stuck in my head. Aww. And then there was like another part of that day. Like I forget everything else. I do remember we went through the it's a small world after all ride. That
that's freaks where that ride comes alive.
I was an adult and that freaked me out. Dude, I'm like riding through with my mom and I'm like, Mom, there is It's closing in on me. It really is small. Get out of here. And then it breaks down.
Hills Have Eyes moment.
It broke down, and we're sitting there, and they're all just staring at us. We're like, no, get me out of here.
No. One good part, I do remember those classic chocolate ice cream pops in the Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
Those I remember.
The balloons.
Those were good.
And the balloons.
Yeah. And the balloons. I lost mine. We were in the car and it flew out the window. I was so sad. Oh. There's my first
one. That's the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, no. Why did it? Her was like, well, it's gone now. Screw this,
My first memory, my best friend and I we've known each other since we were 4.
Nice.
and I was over at her house, and we were watching Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
That's a good one.
That's all I remember of it. Like, I remember the car, but I remember that's like probably my first memory that I actually remember it, other than, like the Winnie the Pooh and all that other stuff. Anything other than that. But Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is like one of the first ones that I actually remember watching the movie and not the Winnie the Pooh.
I just remember the song, just like that one part of it, like chitty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, we love you. Yeah, that's all I remember from it. I was just like, okay, cool.
They sold that car and they got like.
Really? Wait a minute. Anna says that Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is not a Disney property.
Isn't it?
What?
I thought it was. That's a new one to me.
Okay, I thought it was. Okay, well then we watched Bed Knobs and Broomsticks right now.
That one also. That's crazy.
I can't think of anything in particular for me that stands out. I just remember watching a lot of the Golden Age ones as a kid, like the Little Mermaids, and I guess it's not Golden Age, the 101 Dalmatians, Robin Hood, all those. Like we watched a lot of those ones. We didn't really watch many of the Disney princesses ones. Style. We watched all the other ones.
Yeah,
Fox and the Hound is Disney too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, pull the heartstrings.
Lady and the Tramp.
Lady and the Tramp was another one.
With the Siamese cats, it was like my favorite part.
Oh, they were so creepy. Like
I know, I love them. They were my favorite.
So I actually have a few memories, but then actually that had one come up. We actually had the vinyl from Lady and the Tramp.
Oh,
and
wow.
It was the We Are Siamese, and my sister and I, we used to like put it on and play it over and over and over again, and just like have a great time listening to We Are Siamese. One of the other memories is when I was little. I kind of have some memories, but a lot of it's just from what I've been told, was when we were down in the park, and I really wanted to go on the Dumbo ride. And we waited in line for the Dumbo ride. And then I actually went back to the park in high school, and I was like, I'm going on Dumbo ride again. And that same trip when I was little, we were watching, remember the old parade with the lights that would go by? And apparently I was sitting on my
electric.
The electric parade.
Yeah.
And I was sitting on my dad's shoulder singing and just having a good time, and we're walking back to the ferry, and all of a sudden he just says, I got quiet. And I just fell like right on his head. And I was just passed out.
Oh no.
My dad said all of a sudden I was just singing. People thought it was the cutest thing, and then I was quiet. And my mom was like, she was passed out across your head. And then another memory is actually with my dad again. Is, do you guys remember Mouser Size?
Mouser Size, yeah.
Mouser Size.
Oh my god!
My sister loved that shit.
My dad would get up early and watch Mouser Size with me and my sister.
That's cool.
As he said, he's like, I just wanted to see it because the women were good looking.
Oh no,
that's a reason. You got to get the parents in. Remember, you got to find ways to do
it.
Mine was Mickey Mouse Club.
Oh yeah, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. That's been around for a long time.
Well,
I didn't have that channel. I don't know what that was on, but I didn't have that.
It was weird.
It was on Disney. It was on the Disney Channel.
Oh, that's why we didn't have cable at one point. Well, at that point.
Our cable company was weird. It had strange channels very early on, and it was like
Disney was.
Yeah, and
Disney was one. Yep.
We even had Comedy Central, like well before anyone else I knew had it.
Wow.
I'd have to say my favorite Disney movie was Fantasia, or my first memory was of Fantasia. That was like the original.
Yeah. I love both of them actually. I love the first one more, but Fantasia 2000 is really nice.
I like the one with the dancing mops.
Yeah, that's the first one.
The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yeah, Sorcerer's Apprentice.
I remember watching that sitting on my grandparents' rug. Because they were older. You know, my mom was like
Anna?
The Oopsie
Hannah?
Baby.
Anna, really?
Shame,
Anna, you need to correct that.
There's two of them. You have to watch them both.
He hasn't seen Fantasia. Oh my
Yeah.
god!
So my grandparents were, older, but I spent a lot of time with them, and so they weren't real active. So we watched a lot of TV together. Murder, She Wrote with Angela Lansbury, all that
Columbo.
shit. Yeah, Matlock, all that. But if there was a Disney something on, they would put it on for me, and I would stretch out on the rug, and they had one of those big old TVs that was like in a wooden case,
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I remember watching.
Weighed like 1,000 pounds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much.
I had one forever.
And I'd watch, all the Disney movies and all that with them, and it's just like, to me, like that's. Yeah. I know we're talking about like older stuff, we're not touching on Star Wars, even though it's the Disney property, because that's such a new thing.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't think we've really. I don't think in our minds that's really Disney yet.
No,
I have a hard time with it.
Yeah, so this is all like just remembering. Like we're sitting here, you're mentioning Fantasia.
So
I
new.
literally just pictured myself. I could even picture what I was wearing, sitting on my grandparents' rug, watching it on TV.
Yeah.
And it's nice. So these really happy memories are getting triggered.
Yeah. So with Fantasia, I think it almost caused like a behavior of mine. When I listen to music, I actually do create little mini movies in my head for songs that I really like. Like there's an actual album of Nine Inch Nails that I have that I actually play like a movie that I created in my own head when I listen to it, and I go through with it. And I think Fantasia is the cause of it. I usually do it with the song because I'm listening to the song over and over and over again, and it's like to create that fantasy. You can almost build into it, which is kind of interesting. I also want to mention Anna's. Sorry, real quick. Anna's first memory. So she's in the background. Yeah, Anna. That her first memory is going to the theater to see Bambi and freaking out because Bambi's mom got killed. She had to be about 6, and it's a special release in the theater.
Oh,
Disney traumatizing children.
Well, so
Hooray! A lot.
there's like a thing that I agree with that Stephen King says, and it's you can't have horror without love. And in order to understand. Right. In order to understand both emotions, Disney really did bring that to very young people in an interesting way. Like it wasn't like a permanent trauma, but it was like you get introduced to death and mom death, you know what I mean, at a very young age, like the death of a parent and all these other things get addressed very early on. And it's kind of crazy. Because it kind of get me too. Like Bambi was like, oh shit, and like Snow White was super creepy with the witch when you're that age, when you're little,
Well, apparently with Snow White, a lot of theaters actually had to put plastic on the seats because when it first came out, kids were so scared that they were wetting themselves. So theaters had to put like plastic.
I believe it.
They had to put plastic on the seats to protect it from where kids peeing themselves.
Yeah, but kids
they
are
would get so
exposed
scared
to stuff like kids are now. So like back then, being exposed to something like that was like, holy shit, you know what I mean? Like now you've got 5-year-olds who are watching Halloween, like
which is not that scary when you think about it.
No, but I mean,
for a 5-year-old, yes.
Yeah.
One movie that really stuck with me that was on the more disturbing side was Dumbo. Just the elephant scene. What the heck? Like I watched that as an adult. I'm like, what? You're showing this to kids? Like this is disturbing. This kid's on an acid trip. Yes.
Wait,
oh my god! They have no pupils, no eyes, and
I had a friend who
faces.
I had a friend who had a theory that like Disney fed his animators acid.
I would not be surprised.
Look at Alice in Wonderland.
I was gonna say they were tripping on acid.
There's a lot of weird Disney parts.
I'm sorry, the
flowers talking to you.
Horrible. What? What's that?
Flowers talking to you?
That's
the caterpillar was smoking hookah were pot. I mean, it was about the 70s.
But that wasn't really considered a criminal thing.
Well, you know what the background of the Mad Hatter was. With the hat makers.
Yeah, they all went.
It was the glue they had to use caused them to go mad.
Because of the mercury would soak into their fingers because of the felt.
Yep. Ooh.
So audience question from Melissa is, what is the best live action movie?
Oh, help. I gotta think about that one.
That's a super
Beauty
hard
and the Beast was
question.
actually pretty good. I was surprised at how
I
well
really
they
like that
did
one.
them.
Yeah.
That one I was
live
kind of
action?
iffy with, personally.
But live action original Disney Peace Dragon.
Yeah.
I'd say
I was going back to that one.
I'm totally gonna agree with you on that, but like to
Mary
like,
Poppins.
go up to this time framing, I'm gonna say the Jungle Book. John Favreau did an amazing job on the
I
Jungle
haven't
Book.
seen that
Yeah,
one.
that
but
was really
good.
the live action one.
Phenomenal, man. And I can't wait
I've
to
seen
see The
bits.
Lion King because he did that one too. And that man is
That
a
was really
visionary.
good.
Really?
I
That
heard
was
some
really
people didn't
good.
like The Lion King because it was a shot-for-shot exact same thing.
Well,
Versus
so
something
was
like The
Beauty and
Jungle Book was at least, still kind of a new
But
story.
see, I
in a
kind of
sense.
like the Lion King that they kept it very original.
Mhm.
The only thing I really didn't like was Beyonce as the voice of
Nala.
Nala, because it didn't fit. It did for the singing, but for the acting part, she fell short.
Hmm.
Now, see, I like the original Nala Pinjigin.
Hmm. Yeah.
I like her. I like the attitude she brought with it.
Mm-hmm.
You need somebody a
didn't- I
little
didn't get
younger
that.
to bring that. Like, no offense to Beyonce, not that she's old or
Yeah.
anything, but like you need like a
She's
young
in her
person.
60s, like 50s.
Beyonce?
Yeah,
Beyonce's
she's
like
like in her 50s.
younger than me, isn't she?
No.
No.
Okay,
No, I
I-
think
I
she's
No,
just
like
she's
found-
like in her 40s, if even. No,
I'd
she's
say
younger.
she's probably
I thought
right
she
around
was-
40. I would get to give that maybe right around 40.
Yeah, because she's around my age roughly.
Okay,
I would-
I'm looking
Not,
it
she's
up.
like a little older than me.
I'd say 35, 40 at the most, like in that age bracket.
I feel like she's older.
I don't know.
Anywho,
Casper's
I
like,
don't know.
I'm looking
I'm
it
just
up.
I'm saying like I feel like a younger woman brings like a different attitude to like a character like Nala. I feel like that would have been a better choice. But whatever. Hey. Who
She
knows?
was born in 1981.
yeah,
And it
she's,
says 38.
38. Oh, we'll be turning 39 this year.
Oh
then.
my god.
Gosh, I'm
That's what I
older
thought.
than she
There
is.
you go.
Ugh.
No, she's like my age. Yeah, she's only like a year older.
Yeah, she's not.
Too. I can't think of any other live action movie. I would probably agree with the Mary Poppins as being such a good, like, enticed one. where
It was
just really kind of gets you in.
Knights of Ren says Star Wars is my favorite live action. Yeah, but Star Wars it's Star Wars isn't. I still don't think of that as a Disney property as much.
So let's convert it into that. So then my question is Princess Leia a Disney princess would be in that?
I
part
kind of like
argument?
my question the other day.
Yes, I know yours was. So the question was: is Disney princess Princess Anakin? Is he a Disney princess?
Hang on, now we're
Of that
going a
nature.
little too far here.
But no, he is not a Disney princess
Well,
because he
come
was
on,
never
he
a
whined more
prince in
than
a sense.
once.
He was a knight, or was he even given knightship? I think he was denied. No, he's denied master. Sorry, but
He was Jedi Master. He was a Jedi Knight.
Jedi Knight.
Yeah, he
so
wasn't,
he wasn't a prince. He wasn't any of that stuff. And Amidala wasn't a queen when they got married. So
I mean, I guess so if it has to go that route. But then again, like think like what all does Disney own now? Like what all properties are now under?
What do they not
Disney.
own?
Is
Well, that's
it?
they own
what I'm asking.
everything. Just keeps going on.
Like
Well, there's also like female Thor is now Princess Thor. It's under
Mhm.
Disney and all that stuff. Like
No.
people try to go into the Marvel aspect.
No.
So do they own all of Jim Henson now too? Like they own Jim? Do they own Jim Henson stuff? Do they
Anna's
own?
shaking her head. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they own. And they okay. So they own Warner Brothers. They own Jim Henson. They own Star
And
Wars.
they don't own DreamWorks. I think that's one of the few that they don't own.
No. They're
But
still
they own
independent.
Pixar.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
She says yes, yes, yes.
they don't. They don't.
But no-
They don't
so
own
is Miss
Paramount though.
is Miss
Frank Evans.
Piggy a Disney princess too?
But is she a princess?
Technically, yes.
She, if you ask her, she is.
Well, not
No.
you can't. You can't sell the point in that sense unless you're conquering a land or something of that nature. And at that point, she would be a queen.
He conquered Kermit.
Conquer Kermit.
Oh.
She did conquer
yeah.
Kermit.
No,
Sorry,
Miss Piggy
Jan.
is a queen. I'm sorry. She is a diva queen.
Okay,
she's
all
a
right.
princess.
She's not a
She's a
princess.
diva.
Exactly.
She's a Disney queen.
She's a diva. She's not a queen. She's a diva.
So maybe Anakin is a Disney queen too.
That would be more appropriate.
He's what is Queen Elizabeth's husband? He's like Prince Consort. I can't think of the word.
Yeah, something like
Prince
that.
Consort.
Consort, Prince Consort. I can't think of I wasn't sure if that was the thing. So,
So that's Anakin, I guess.
No, I think he's queen. Queen diva.
I don't know, man.
He acts like a queen.
This is a whole nother conversation, but I actually do really like Anakin as a character. He's actually one of my favorites, but that's a whole nother thing.
It's really good. A lot of Star Wars fans like absolutely hate that trilogy, so I'm happy to hear that.
No, I love the prequels. I'm on the downside of that. Everyone's probably going to shoot hate in the chat of it, but you know,
no, I'm with you. I love
me, bro. Feel free to at me, bro.
Girl, I'm with you. I like them all. Like there isn't one that I don't like. So I come on, bring the hate because I love them all of them. Even like
no, I don't like the originals. I'm not a fan of the originals.
That's fine.
That's where people really hate me because I'm not like.
Well, you didn't grow up with it. Though,
I mean, no, I didn't really. Honestly, I didn't see it until high school the first time, and even then, I don't remember much. But I mean, the best thing that came out of, I guess, the originals is the "Prepare Your Anus" Wicket meme. That's probably my favorite meme of all time. I do joke. I bought a lot of Wicket little things just because of the meme. So nothing to do with Star Wars. I just love the "Prepare Your Anus" because it's just that face. He's like.
Yeah. Right. I get it.
I definitely loved Ewan McGregor.
Ewan
McGregor in the original, in that trilogy, the 1, 2, 3, the prequels. I absolutely loved him. I heard he's reprising his role too.
Yes.
Yes, they're doing a series, although I heard there's some kind of production issues, I think, or something with it recently.
I think it's just slowed down a little bit. That's all.
I think it's the writing or something. They had to deal with some of that.
He was a great Obi-Wan though. Like you
I love him.
Yeah.
Another thing where someone made it their own character rather than it being someone else's character that they happen to be playing.
Yeah.
And if anything, most people really do appreciate him as Obi-Wan so much so more than the original in that sense that they see him as Obi-Wan, like that he is. That's another example of that. I mean, some still see. I can't think of the original name.
I don't know, man, because I feel kind of like Ewan McGregor, kind of as he got older, turned into like he slowly became the older version of Obi-Wan. Do you know? Does that make any sense?
Well, you have to, I guess, maybe in a sense, have to make him have the endpoint so that it makes sense that 30 some odd years afterwards, he's the same character.
Yeah, I guess so.
I know they made him look like him on purpose. I know
Sir Alex Guinness.
Yeah,
that's it, Alex Guinness. I couldn't remember his name.
And he actually hated Star Wars.
Yeah,
he just didn't.
He actually hated it.
That's unfortunate.
You're not a Star Wars fan. No.
No, I'm not. Well, I disagree with you there, but we can agree to disagree because I don't necessarily like the 1, 2, and 3, but I grew up with the originals. I remember watching them as a kid, and we didn't have VCRs back then.
No.
So they would be on TV around Christmas.
Yep.
They were Christmas movies along with the Wizard of Oz for some reason. They were all Christmas movies. You know what I mean? They were always on.
We had Wizard of Oz at Easter. That's what I remember. I remember Wizard of Oz being on around Easter for some reason. I don't really know why. Anyway, but yeah, I remember that too, with like the commercials in between and like some dubbing for TV.
Yeah.
You know, and even like they'd even cut it. They'd chop it for TV.
And it was so hard that they'd chop it because it was too long for their time slots. So they had to chop it down, or it was either too long for 2 time slots and not long enough for, or 3. Too long for 1. And so they had to chop it. And you totally didn't get the whole story.
But see, like for me, when I'm having a bad day or like I'm sick and I'm like, I'm not doing well, you pop in a Star Wars movie, I don't care which one it is, that movie comes on and I'm like, oh, I feel better. I don't feel sick right now. Like it just kind of like, it brings me, it eases me. It makes me feel like home and comfort. And I don't know what it is, but yeah, I mean,
That's really nice though.
I think it's funny that Disney owns all of these properties, including Star Wars, and then all of these things now get included into this type of conversation because, you go from like this original, Walt Disney creation, innovative, production stuff that went on, and now all of a sudden it's everything else in between, and it just kind of blows my mind because even though I grew up with all these other, like Warner Brothers stuff and Jim Henson stuff and, and George Lucas thing, I just find it really strange that now it's all included in the same conversation. Like it just kind of weirds me out a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Like,
easier, though.
Yeah.
It definitely does.
That happens a lot. Competition created ends up getting absorbed by one versus the other, whoever's winning in that sense, because the competition is too much. So why not work together as one?
Yeah, exactly.
Or just sell to the other guy, take your money, and go retire.
That too. That's true. At least you know it's going to be part of a big idea moneymaker type thing.
Right.
Kind of switch gears a little bit. I know Casper mentioned that you didn't have Disney Channel, and it's also, I'm sorry, but did anyone watch Disney shows, or is that just me? Because I watched a lot of those.
Oh, absolutely.
Wait. Mando, the Mandalorian. That's my show because
that's a new one.
I don't know what show you're talking about. I know about the Baby Yoda show. I don't know what this Mandalorian is.
No. It's the child.
No, still Baby Yoda.
When it comes to like the new stuff, like newer, absolutely Baby Yoda. Come on
Baby
now.
Yoda.
Baby Yoda. But
I grew up with a lot of the Baby Yoda.
Oh my god, so cute. Did you make that?
Bethany is showing a little crocheted Baby Yoda on screen.
Oh my god, that's precious.
We had Jason knows someone who made them, and she like made a ton of them and was like trying to get them sold before like they came down on her for copyright. But she was like the child, the baby, like that's how she was selling them on her Etsy, so she couldn't get in trouble
Pointy ear baby. There you go.
Yeah, pointy ear baby. Yeah.
JD just finished painting one, and oh my god, it looks so amazing. He just posted on like a video of it, like him like spinning it around on one of those sticks that he uses, and it like, oh my god, it looks so good. It's retarded. I can't even take it. Like he sent me a video earlier today. It's even got like little like fuzzies on its ears and like the top of its head. Like it's so cute.
Oh my god!
It's like you should just see the finish that he put on it because it looks incredible. Anyway, shameless plug.
Yes,
love to. Yeah.
I'm down for any and all Baby Yoda things, just like that Loungefly Baby Yoda backpack. Like,
oh yeah.
Eric got a punching bag. You know, he's a biker scout with the 501st. He got one of the bags, and he doesn't have a Baby Yoda in it. He's putting all the other plushies he has, so he's going to walk around as a 501st punching the bag. And he's going to have like Salacious Crumb in it, Max Rebo, you know, all the plushies that he has, and he's going to pull it up. Yep, that's not it. That one's not it either. Nope, not that one. But he has the original bag that they used, so he's going to be one of those biker scouts in that.
That's good.
Nice.
I always say of Disney shows that I kind of grew up. Well, I was a little older, I guess, for some of them, but my siblings were kids at the time, kind of watching would be like Lizzie McGuire and Even Stevens.
Yes,
those are the ones
yes.
I kind of watched. That reboot. I'm so sad that's getting pushed back for it.
I've been trying to find the Lizzie McGuire show like on Netflix or anything like that, and I haven't been able to find it.
Disney
Plus.
Got it.
Disney Plus?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nice.
I don't think Even Stevens is, but I know. Oh, it is. Okay, so then yes, both of those are up there. That's actually speaking of Even Stevens. That's probably one with with Shia LaBeouf and how crazy that he is now, and it's a shame because
he went off the rails.
He was so good as a comedy person, and there's so many people that are actors, child actors that happen to be really good in comedy, and then they went down this weird path of being just like odd. And I mean, I liked him in Constantine. I don't know if anyone remembers him in that, but I know he was really good at that.
Yeah, he was very good. in
I
that
mean, it was
movie.
Keanu Reeves' movie, so of course I was going to watch it. But
I need to rewatch that now. Really? He's in Constantine?
Yeah.
Who is
yeah,
that?
he's
Yeah.
the boy that follows
He's-
around Constantine, and
Mhm.
he's like kind of like a chauffeurish or assistant.
Yeah.
Or something of that nature. I
Because
don't know.
he got
I
mad
don't
when the mirror
remember.
fell on the car.
Yeah. So he
Because he
he's
got-
that same like like that kind
Yeah.
of character. He's the exact same. I don't know how to describe like the what's
it.
the
No,
what's
no,
his
I know what you're
character's
talking
name?
about.
But
Gives me a reason to rewatch Constantine. Thank you.
Yes, exactly. Well, I love that movie. I think it's great. I think that one gets
Me
around. But
too.
anyway, that's not Disney.
I think one of the TV shows, besides, of course, like Lizzie McGuire and all those in the early 2000s, of course, was, Winnie the Pooh, 100 Acre Woods. But there was this other show, and I think it was Disney. It was another one. It was, it had puppets, and it was like under the...
Are you talking about Fraggle Rock?
No, which I watched.
Hang on.
It was
a
like
Disney
under
show.
the willow tree. It was like called like under
Oh.
the willow tree, and it
I
had like
remember that.
a lizard, a bird, and some sort of like other, and it was like a woman who was like their caretaker. And I remember watching it. I think it's like called like Under the Fern Tree, and she had like a townhouse or like a house, and they all lived in. And I think like the bird lived in like the bookshelf or something. I think it was like a gopher lived under a tree.
I'm trying to remember. I can't quite place it.
There was one similar to that. It was what was it called? I'm trying to look at my list. The bear in the big blue house.
Yeah.
That was
No.
puppetry.
Yeah, no, this was something different. I mean, I kind of can see it in my head, and I looked it up one time and I found it, but now I can't remember the name.
Look it up again. Tell us, let us know. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it was really, it was fun. And then there was one, I don't know if it was Disney, but it was kind of like a Toy Story inspired, but it was before Toy Story. Like these toys in the attic, and they would come alive when the kids were gone. And then, they would go back to being a toy when the kids came back into the attic or the playroom.
I don't remember that either.
Man.
I don't.
I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, I can pull some weird shit out of the back of my mind.
Like I said, I never had cable, so I got like PBS.
Yeah, but the other
Like
thing
I lived in the
that's
middle of
good, though.
nowhere. Like literally, there was PBS.
Disney
Gummy
didn't take
bears.
off with TV shows.
Gummy bears was good.
So we were a little older.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Casper. Like there weren't really many actual Disney TV shows at that point in
Mhm.
time. There was a lot of shorts and a lot of stuff that got put together like that. There was like, of course, the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and that kind of thing, but it didn't really take off until like the later 80s, I want to say. And then there was like tons and tons and tons of TV shows like the Lizzie McGuires and the Even Stevens and all that.
But see, that was not until like the early 2000s.
Thousands. No, I had a
That
show.
was my childhood.
Yeah, that would have been.
See,
yeah.
I was 90s. I grew up watching like some of the TV shows Disney from the 90s.
You, so then, Bethany, you may know this one called Flash Forward, which was a live action Disney show.
It sounds familiar.
Yes, and it stars Joel State, who's a Firefly fame, and Ben Foster, who's in a lot of really random things. He was in a World of Warcraft movie. He was can't think of the guy's name, but he was like a wizard. Anyway, that is probably one of my favorite. I have VHS tapes up in my room of it, but it's one of the best not kids. It was more geared towards like teenagers, preteen. They were like in junior high type age, and it was like a live action two best friends that were neighbors, and they were born on the same day. And then it was all their adventures and the hijinks of it. But it was produced in Canada. What's funny is what's his name? I want to say his name's Ryan Gosling. Is that his name? Is that a person?
Really?
Right.
And Ryan Gosling is a dude. Yeah, he's a person.
Is he the one that's
He's a dude.
Is he the one that's in Drive? I can't remember. Is he the one that's in Drive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He was in Notebook. There we go. Yeah, he was in that TV show too.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of because he was a Mickey Mouse. I think he was a Mickey Mouse Club,
I don't know if he was Mickey Mouse.
but he was Disney.
He may have.
No, he was. Yeah, he was part of it. He was
Okay.
in Mickey Mouse Club with Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, JC Chazé, and Carrie Russell. So she's back with Disney.
Okay, I got a question. Who remembers a TV show called Kids Incorporated?
I was thinking of that. I didn't think that was Disney though.
Yes.
It's a Disney show.
I
Yeah.
couldn't remember if that was Disney or not.
Yeah, that was
I was at my aunt's house and they would watch it, but
yeah.
I didn't know it was
I
Disney.
kind of remember like when they would show some of it in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Disney, a Mickey Mouse Club, but just a different style.
Yeah, it's more singing and dancing.
Yeah.
Than, you know, like
did they like own a bar or something? Not a bar, but like a club. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was kind of like an after school like hangout place. Yeah, and they would all like show up there and be like the cool kids and dance and do all kinds of silly stuff. I don't really remember it a whole lot other than the song, you know, like because it'd be like kids
K-I-D-S.
Oh, looks like we made it. We're kids incorporated.
Oh my god, I haven't heard that forever. I
was thinking that too. I just wasn't sure if that was Disney.
Yeah. And then you're talking like live action shows though, you know, and then we have like all the DuckTales and the Winnie the Poohs and the Chippendales and the, you know, like the gummy bears. You remember the gummy bears?
Yes.
Gummy bears.
Yes.
Bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Yeah, baby. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Darkwing Duck.
Rock.
You guys remember
Oh, yeah.
I never watched Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
That's good. Or DuckTales in general.
Yeah.
We're getting that.
Yes.
Rescue Rangers. We're going that. Tailspin.
Oh, I love that one. Love that one.
Going back to the cartoon ones in particular. Kind of a similar nature. Did any of you guys watch the Disney Channel original movies? Because they had a lot of those where I think it was every month they would come out with a new one.
Oh, yes. Oh, they were so good. There was Halloween Town. There was Torches. There's a Lizzie McGuire movie. Oh, I love those movies so much.
Well, the Lizzie McGuire movie was released in actual theaters, so I don't think it's considered a Disney Channel original movie.
I watched it on the channel.
Okay.
I do remember watching it on the channel, and it was like my absolute favorite. I still have the CD, like the soundtrack from the movie.
I actually have the DVD.
You went up there.
I actually own the DVD.
Oh, I remember it so fondly.
I used to watch a lot of them.
What are you talking about?
There's a lot of like just original movies. There's like the one with the
two. It was fun. She went to Europe, you know.
Yeah, like there was the twins that played basketball. I remember that being one.
Yes.
I remember there was
Luck
the girl.
of the Irish.
Yeah, Luck of the Irish one. There's the Smart House, Smart Mom.
Yes. Oh, I love that movie.
Smart House. I was so jealous. I wanted a house like that.
It has Pig Bundy in it, right? The girl who plays Pig Bundy.
Oh yeah,
Married with Children. I'm trying to think what else. There was also.
Oh, wasn't there the one where like something with like the mermaids or something?
Yeah. That sounds kind of familiar. There's so many of them.
Oh, I know.
I mean, I remember more of like the older ones. I don't remember a lot of the newer ones where it was like, what am I trying to like Freaky Friday? Like
yes.
Like that.
Oh, I love that one.
Heard of that. At least that's the first one I've heard of.
Parent Trap.
Oh,
remember that?
I like
Parent
I like the ones with Lindsay Lohan instead. I'm sorry, I like the second one.
What about?
I actually like that remake better than the original.
Yeah. Same. I like.
I love the original.
Mm-hmm.
There's
good, but
Escape to Witch Mountain. I think was one too.
Yes.
Okay, I've heard of that one.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that now you're getting back to like, you know, a time framing where I was actually a kid and not like half a teenager taking care of my sisters, you know what I mean? Like, but I do remember all the movies they watched too, like Luck of the Irish and like all that stuff, because like they were really into Disney and Nickelodeon, and that was like that was their whole life, you know.
Oh, what was the
you
one?
You were the oldest, right, Chan?
Yeah. Yep.
What was the one? The kid, he like played baseball, but he loved to bake too, or basketball. And there was like there was like a baking competition the same time as like a game.
I don't remember that one. Mm-mm. Must have been
like
after me.
Lucky Pitch. No, Anne's is like, oh.
No, wait. No, I'm remembering. Do you remember Sky High? Was that a Disney movie?
I think so.
With the superhero high school kids?
Yes.
I feel like
I think it was
Disney. High school? Was that Disney?
Yeah, I feel like this.
It was.
Oh, and Xenon?
Xenon.
Xenon too.
I've about had it with the Xenon shit. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like fucking crap. That fucking chick, that shit was so annoying. I couldn't even take it. Like my sisters watched that stuff. My kids wanted to watch it later on. I was like, I can't.
Was it because they were trying to take this lingo? I can't remember the phrases right now, but they used to have very specific, like Vita Lapita or something like that. So I can't think of
yeah, stuff like that. I think maybe, I don't know. It was
like everyone was like, oh.
It just kind of drove me nuts. It was a little too much for me to deal with. I was like, well, this is ridiculous.
I think now if I watched it, I would be like, yeah.
Yeah, dumb. Those ones really do not hold up because that's why they were on the Disney Channel.
No, don't. Except for
the people who cosplay some of those.
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely seen some good cosplay.
I mean, who didn't like Flubber? Let's be serious.
Oh yes,
I never saw it. I still haven't seen it.
That was crazy.
I know. I still need to see it. Yeah, I need to see that one.
God.
Robin Williams is in
Don't worry,
one
I'll
of
get
the
to it. I have Disney Plus.
That's like the reboot. I think I liked both.
The Nutty Professor, I think, was the first.
Yes.
And Flubber was the Robin Williams version. Yeah.
Oh, and the Shaggy Dog, the original Shaggy Dog.
Oh dear God.
That darn cat.
Yeah. You're making me feel super fucking old, you know?
I love those movies.
Oh, I love them too. But I'm starting to show my age, not just on my face.
So we kind of talked about this a little bit before. But did anyone watch the Sunday night Disney movie night, I guess, on ABC in the 90s? I didn't really so much.
I think I did. I can't remember, but I think I did.
I'm pretty sure that was like a thing in my household. My parents were very like, we don't swear, we don't drink, our kids are perfect, kind of. I mean, like they were like that for a brief period of time, until the teenage years kicked in and my mom was like, I need wine and I need it in the fridge all the time. But it was, yeah, I mean, for the longest time, it was very rated G in my house. So. Surprisingly enough, with my mouth, I was raised by very rated G parents.
No, I also remember TGI Friday.
That was
the sitcoms,
ABC,
right?
So, like, what movies would have been on? Do you think? Like, would it just have been any Disney movies that would have been on like '90s Sunday night thing? Like, because I'm trying to remember.
Usually, it was a lot of the older ones. I think there was. It was a lot of the older movies that were on. Oh, The Ugly Dachshund. Do you guys remember that movie?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how I saw most of those movies? We had to go to the grocery store and rent a VCR and rent the VHS to watch them. Because we didn't have VHS, we didn't have a player. Yeah, we had to rent.
I'll tell you what, we did the same thing a lot of the time when I was very young, because we didn't have cable for a long time. We just had like the bunny ears and the knob, and you got no remote control or anything.
Yep.
Like, did you have the tune knobs where you had to tune the bottom one in? Like you got the top one where it was supposed to be, but then you had to like turn the bottom one that had like a bunch of different little knobs.
I had to do that at my grandmother's.
saying yes. Yep.
The other one out. Here we go.
I still remember when we got not even a VCR, it was called a VCP. It was a video cassette player.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't record, but it played. And I remember when we got that, I was it was like, oh, we don't have to rent the VCR from the store anymore.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was like such a thing. I forget how it was like. Basically, it was a Christmas gift. My aunt and uncle gave us a VCP, gave my grandparents a VCR, and oh my God, it was like, yay, I get to watch.
Oh, do you remember like the old to rewind the tapes, and you had to like watch it to make sure?
Yep.
You wouldn't break the big kind rewind. Yep.
I still remember having to be. I was the remote control in the family. Go change the channel.
Go change the channel.
And then when I was real little, like
Ems is like completely lost at this point. I can see her sitting there like
pretty much.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh no, I
remember the baby.
if we wanted to watch past what the dial could do, I had to run to the other side of the house and flip a switch on this box, and then like that would get us the rest of the channels.
RF switch.
Yeah.
RF switch.
God, I tried to do that and like then tune the channel before its show would start. Oh my God.
My aunt and uncle had a monster satellite dish, like the big one that would turn.
Oh my
and you
God.
would like we thought, we were like, man, we can't wait to go to their house. We can watch whatever we want, because they had like this and they had like this monster satellite dish in their front yard that if you couldn't find it on one set of channels, you just would like hit a different coast or something, and it would turn and start pulling in channels from like California and shit. And you're like,
Oh my god!
You know what we did with those once they were done with them? Eric and I actually made a flying saucer out of them.
Nice.
That's my Halloween decoration.
They're that big?
Right.
They're huge.
They were huge.
They're 8 foot across.
Yeah, they were
Holy
enormous.
crap! Can you imagine having that in your front yard?
So
It was your front yard.
So what about Disney parks? What is it that you guys? I assume you've all been to at least Disney World, being over here on the East Coast. Have any of you been to Disneyland or any other of the Disney parks outside of the U.S.?
I don't think I have.
I've been to Disney in France.
Okay.
nice.
How was that experience?
Well, it was part of a marching band trip.
Okay.
Nice. And so we had all the stuff, to get to go. And God bless them. I don't know how these adults managed to wrangle us, because we were a huge marching band, and we flew to France, and we did like a little things in Paris, a couple little concert things.
Lots of wine.
I wish. I was in high
That's
school.
how they wrangled you. Lots of wine.
I'm sure that's how they did it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Lots of
yeah.
wine.
But, and then we did a show at Disney Paris, and then after we did the little show, we actually got to explore the park, which was really interesting. But holy crap, personal space bubbles are very different in Europe than they are here.
Mm-hmm.
They're non-existent.
I remember this guy, and I remember I'm 16, 17, as in sublegal, and I had this adult man, like 40 years old, basically like trying to grind into my ass, like off me. That's actually my most vivid memory of the park. Is
no,
old men from like touching me. I'm like, get off me. But it was actually really fun. It was a lot of fun. The trip was incredible, but like park honestly wasn't anything special compared to I've been to Disneyland, Disney World. I've not been to Disneyland, but actually the funny thing is I haven't been to Disney World since I moved here down to Florida.
Interesting.
Been to other parks that have not done Disney
You're
World.
like right there.
I know, but I did it a couple times as a kid, but I haven't wanted.
We need to all fly down there as a group and go together.
Yes.
I like
That would be
it.
so much
Epcot. Oh, I love
Well,
Epcot.
isn't
Epcot's my favorite.
Next month, some people are going to TFCon. We were going to go, but we had to cancel.
I don't know if we're gonna go.
I don't want to.
No fun.
I don't have to now.
It's
too people-y out there.
It's too it's too soon for people to be able to afford it. It's hard.
Yeah.
I love TFCon, and I love meeting up with the people that are there that are, near and dear to my heart, but I really don't want to go to Disney. I mean, the last time I was at Disney, I was 8 years old, and I don't have any desire to go. It was crowded enough there. I live right next to Hershey Park. I'm like 20 minutes from Hershey Park.
I haven't been to Hershey Park in years, and we live
Right.
like not too far from it.
Right.
Yeah, no, I haven't been there in probably like 15 years.
It's lines and rides. I love rides. I do. I just don't
Like to stand in line for them.
No, not particularly. And there's too many people out there, and I tend to lose my temper whenever it's hot out and there are people around.
Or you could just do what we did and go to Chocolate World.
Right, which is great, right?
That was so much fun.
A lot of people there.
World's amazing, isn't it? You get free chocolate at the end.
Yeah.
We just made it so much fun because we were just like, fuck it.
And it's like euphoria because you walk in there and it just smells like chocolate and it makes you very
it smells
tolerant
so
of the
good.
people around you. Like you're like, I can handle this now because all
No,
I can
Disney
smell
needs
is
to do that.
chocolate.
Disney needs to actually put smell in their parks.
They actually
They
do.
do. They
They
do.
do.
Mhm.
They put their scents. Their stuff has specific smells that
Mhm.
they inputted into
Really?
the food, and they put that smell out in Disney World itself.
Yep. Every
I forget
section
what they
has
do.
a smell.
Yes, and even that's the same. Why you also get the ambiance in each land itself is also that. So it's a smell, it's a view, it's the music, it's all that. It's that way you can't see any of the other lands at the same time. Like it's all planned specifically for it.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
The only times I've been to Disney were I was 21 when I first went there, and then I went again just to MGM Studios or whatever it's now called,
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood Studios, with my husband when we were down there a couple years ago. But other than that, that's all I've been.
I recently went about like 3 years ago. I actually won the trip from work for high performance. So we actually got to stay at one of the resorts, which was nice. But we also got to we picked one of the parks. We did Magic Kingdom. I'm from California, so I've been to Disneyland too. And Magic Kingdom, when I went in Disney World, felt very similar from what I remember when I was a kid. So they definitely made the two the same, more or less. I just don't remember if one was bigger than the other. But what was really cool, because we won and we had an agreement after hours at Hollywood Studios, they actually let us, the team, I'm not going to say where we work, but we went to the Indiana Jones days in Hollywood Studios, and we actually had dinner on the stage. They did a little show for a bit. They brought out belly dancers and all that stuff, and they fed us and all that stuff.
Fantastic.
And then after the food, for 2 hours, they let us ride the Aerosmith ride. And
oh my god, that was a fantastic ride.
Down one, which I do not like, so we did not do that.
Tower Terror.
Tower Terror. We could ride that as much as we want for 2 hours straight, and it was just the people who were there. So literally, Gort and I probably rode the Aerosmith one like 6 times in a row. I was surprised I didn't throw up, but we had to, go out and then go all the way back in. But it was like literally just walk, and then the next one you're like walking right in because there wasn't many people. They were serving alcohol. They were letting you do whatever there. So it was a really cool experience. And it was funny because we knew where the camera was, so it'd be like, look for the camera every single time, and then it would be like one of them was like
That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
It probably was a better experience for sure.
Last time I was at the park was freshman year of high school. We went with the band. That was our spring trip. And it was like the big trip like you wanted to go on. And it was just so much fun. I mean, so yeah, we did like Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, Epcot, MGM. We did all of the parks on the trip. And I remember we got like, me and my group of friends, we got like fast passes for Space Mountain, and we just rode that over and over and over again.
I must be like a deterrent for rides to work because I got on Space Mountain and we get stuck.
Oh,
and they turned all the lights on. I'm like, there goes the experience.
I can see the rails.
Oh, it sucks. But like the one thing about that trip I remember is I was so excited because we got into the park and I saw Chip and Dale and I ran to get a picture with them, and one of them definitely groped my ass.
Oh,
I am 15 years old.
That's
15 years old. And I had my ass groped by one of either Chip or Dale. I was like, and apparently there's a picture of me going.
Tigger
Tigger
was hitting on me and asking me what I was doing later. Like seriously, he was like, I'm like, dude, at the time I was engaged. I'm like, dude, I'm engaged.
That's weird.
I had Eeyore kiss my hand, so
that's sweet.
No.
That's actually kind of sweet.
that was really cute. Yeah,
I totally got my ass groped by one of the chipmunks.
that's so wrong. Oh my god!
And I totally got asked out by Tigger.
That's crazy. This does not sound like very Disney rated stuff, man.
Well,
Oh no, some of those
like
cast members.
the cast members and stuff. They apparently all do stuff, there's stuff in all the tunnels underneath and whatnot. But there's an interesting fact that I found out. Like someone like Gaston, who's out there as the villain and whatnot. I'm trying to remember exactly how he says it, but he's not allowed to say anything bad about Belle directly. Like he has to say, like, to encourage her positive things. It's like, do you read books like Belle? Oh, I can't believe it. She's just too smart for me, or that type of stuff. Like he's not necessarily putting her down in a sense, but still putting those positive spins on the personality because he's not supposed to talk bad about Belle. So
Yeah.
they
also
have
have
special
sayings.
Mm-hmm.
They also have sayings that if you are like a bad customer or something like that, they'll say, "Oh, aren't you perfect little something or other?" I don't remember what the saying is, but they say that. And if you get tagged as that, they'll call you that the whole time, and you don't realize you're being put down.
Oh yeah, they have all these like sayings and all like the tunnels, and like all of a sudden they'll like pop up that's out of somewhere. Oh, and did you know that they have cats in the park?
To eat all the mice.
Yeah.
It's the easiest, cheapest way to keep the rodents out.
Yep, they keep.
I gotta find them.
Yeah,
And,
when I went to Disney World, there was a bunch of cats in I can't think of that street, that shopping plaza that's like in that other section. It begins with an S. But they had that's not in the park. It's like a different, like real shopping stores. They have like a whole section in Disney World. But yeah, there was cats everywhere there, and I would just try to go chase them down and be like, "I want to pet you. I want to pet you."
I mean, and they're all they've all been rescued. They're rescued. They've all been neutered or spayed. They get their shots. They get fed, and they're like, "We'd rather them be here, getting rid of the rodents, than be out on the streets or in the shelter."
Yeah.
And they ask people, they're like, just leave them alone. This is their home. Don't bother them.
Yeah, they're enticed to stay.
They're like, we don't want to scare them away.
Yeah.
If you don't like cats, leave them alone.
Yeah, if you're allergic, just stay away from them.
You know, one of my favorite things to do was you guys are gonna laugh. You know the little monorail that goes between the hotels. Eric and I decided to get on one of the monorails and visit all the hotels throughout the parks. So we just went the whole way around.
Well, you can totally do that because I think they have the penny machines at every hotel too. So you can tend to go get souvenirs.
They have like shopping centers in the hotels and stuff like that. So we just went and we were exploring the hotels.
Hey,
That's cool.
they're all cool.
Nice.
Every year,
I was in marching band in high school. I had the greatest honor. We went backstage, like behind like the major shops, and like we were told like, hey, whatever you see, don't tell anyone. Like it was like super hush hush. I actually was able to play in the parade, like down the main road for like a split second. It was like super amazing. I look back on it now, I'm like, oh my god, I was like in Disney World, part of a major parade. Like, wow, you know.
There is true Disney magic that you find out that they really do behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
They've got stuff on like Disney Plus that shows like the behind the scenes of Disney and underground, Disney Underground.
I
still remember the first time I went to Disney. I've been to Disney World, the actual Disney World, like twice, not counting the European thing. The one in Florida, I've been there twice. Once I probably a little under 10. Next time was when I was in my teens. It was the Big Red Boat thing. It was like 3 days at Disney, 4 days on the boat.
Nice.
Like the Disney, you go a little island Disney owns and all that. Got the worst sunburn of my life there, actually. But first time I went to Disney, we did Epcot, we did Disney, we did like the whole thing. And I was an awkward kid. Okay? I was tall.
High fives. Me too.
Yeah, exactly. We have tall, chubby. Did not dress well because my mother like kind of had a total say over what I wore, and so I was not exactly like. She dressed me like I was a 40-year-old. It was like, oh. And I remember walking through, and this little robot comes up to me and complimented my outfit. And I didn't like my outfit. Like I thought I looked like a smacked ass, but this little robot comes up to me and goes, "You look so cute. Are you having a good day?" And it was like this little, I don't know. And I know it was at the time I was young enough that it was like, oh my god, that's so cool. Like totally cheered me up, like made my day. And I know it was some random person in the control room who went, okay, there's an awkward looking kid. Let me go over and say hi.
But you know what? It's sweet though.
It does.
It does make a difference.
I remember this to this day, and this was years ago.
Right.
I mean, more than 30 years ago. And I still remember it. You know, like
my cousin.
I looked up the movie that was playing. I couldn't remember what it was called. I looked up the movie that was playing. It was the first 3D movie I ever saw at Disney when I was like 8. My sister was like 3.
The Muppets.
When we went. No, it was called Captain EO, and it had Michael Jackson in it.
I remember Captain
You remember?
EO.
Really?
Yes. It was playing when I went to Disney the first time.
No shit. That's great. Yeah.
You guys were probably there at the same time, just don't realize
Could
it.
have been. You never know.
Entirely possible, actually.
So my cousin went to Disney, and he had all 4 of his kids with him, and then one kid got really, really sick, and he fell all over himself, and he needed a new outfit. They literally took him into the store and said, "You can have anything." And they were trying to look for the tags that were the least price. They're like, "No," and the person went over and picked out the most expensive thing, and like got him the cutest outfit. He got a little bear because he was not feeling well, and they got him ice cream, and they like doted on this kid. Like they did $150 or so worth of merchandise.
That's cool.
Oh, that's really
Speaking of
nice.
merchandise,
Yes.
Disney
I
merch.
was gonna say Disney merch. Is there anything in particular that's like a prized possession? Is kind of what I want to ask that you would say is maybe Disney related that you would like have stand out. That's like Disney. Okay, if you're gonna go Star Wars,
I don't have it.
I have an
feels
old
like Disney. You see it and it's like Disney.
I have an old pair of tattered Mickey ears.
Okay.
Like, like it was the felt hat with the plastic ears.
Yeah, I had that too.
I
I forgot
had
one of
that
my
And it is so tattered.
Did you embroider
Her
your name on it?
BB-8.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
her
brought
name
BB-8
was
up.
on it. Yep. She brought BB-8.
We had Goofy ears. We brought Goofy.
And I have Eeyore ears.
I have BB-8 ears. Somebody got me
What?
BB-8 ears. My
Shocking.
friend Amy. Shocking, I know.
I have a porg.
There was. You have a
That
porg.
makes-
Oh,
that
porg.
makes it sings.
Porg.
Do they taste like chicken?
No, it was a gift from my husband. He got me a porg, and it's in my room. And every now and then I make him, but every time I look at it makes me smile. So
We came home from TFCon this last time, and JD surprised me with the Ahsoka Tano lightsabers. They were in the case and everything. They have the blades you can pull out, and they're beautiful. I cried like a little baby.
Aww.
That's probably currently my most prized possession, Disney merchandise possession, because it was sent from California by another Realm member, which was amazing. But when I was a kid, I had Goofy ears, a hat with like the brim had the teeth and like the
Cute.
like a trucker cap, like the mesh back and the snap.
I can so imagine you wearing those too.
Something ended up happening to them all because we had a couple of them, and I don't know what happened to them or the Mickey ears. But that was a long time.
I think we had one of those hats too. I think my dad had one.
Yeah.
I had a beret from the trip to the Disney Paris.
Yeah.
That would make one.
I had a beret. It had like something Disney embroidered on it, and I have no flipping clue where it went. Like it's gone. I don't know where it went.
You guys remember pillow pets?
Yeah.
I have an Eeyore that's a pillow pet.
Aww.
I bought it from the store. It's really cute. I still have them too.
My other prize is from Fantasia 2000. The scene with the flamingos and the yo-yo.
Yeah.
Definitely have one of those. Definitely have one of those flamingos. And actually, this Christmas, my dad surprised me with a beach towel with that from that scene. That scene with my name on it.
That's
cool.
awesome.
That's cute. I love
And I think that was like the one movie that like got me into flamingos was Fantasia 2000.
That's a good part.
I have a mug from when I went to the parks with my parents, and I actually remember. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to cry.
Oh,
You're fine.
It's okay.
I remember being in the park and being like going and buying the mug, and my mom was like, "Are you sure that's the mug you want? I mean, you're getting married, and this is going to be our last trip together." So I drink out of that mug all the time, and I think about that, and I've lost both my parents in the last year and a half. So that's
That's a
You're
big
most
one.
prized.
That's a big one.
sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Oh,
No,
fine.
sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's an
We're all
important one.
trying not to cry with you right now.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, please do not mess up my makeup. Please.
You got me. You got me all in the feels, dear.
That's why I don't wear it. It just comes off.
Well, I don't want to end on that note, but it is a very good memory, though. So we will end there.
It's a very sweet memory.
It is a very sweet memory. It's very, very important one to keep and cherish, definitely. And I'm glad that you have something of that nature to keep with you. Just always take very good care of it.
I know. I have a very bad habit of breaking mugs. So.
But anyway, so I just wanted to thank everyone who is watching. Got a couple shout outs to kind of do before we leave. First of all, we have Anna, who is in the background. She is producing today, so she has been here. So I want to say thank you, Anna, for all that you're doing. Very much appreciate it and taking the time to do that. Outside of that,
real quick, Night of Ren says, I have my dad's Disney's Jungle Book storybook from the 1960s when he was a kid.
That's cool. That's another good one. Make sure to keep that in good storage. Probably some special plastic or resistant box is probably going to be the best thing. So like damage to it. Anyway, sorry. Special shout outs to Masterpiece Shitpiece Theater and the Nerds Have Spoken because of their support for our show. We of course want to extend that support back. I'm sorry, I'm flubbing today. Also to our theme music for Dust Mites, we really appreciate that, as well as all our lovely cast members. So we'll start out with Casper. Is there anything that you want to shout out today?
Shout out to Hole in the Ground Productions because we're starting on the Mando and we've got a new convention coming up and we've got some really cool things in the works.
Sure. Bethany?
Probably just shout out to all y'all girls and of course to my lovely husband, who is lovely.
Lovely.
My loving husband, who supported me through this all. The fact that our 1-year wedding anniversary is coming up, and to his show,
congratulations!
I know,
happy anniversary,
and of course his show, as Grims has said, the Nerds Have Spoken, which their newest was dropped this morning. You should listen to it; it's very entertaining. That's about it.
How about you, Kat? Do you have anything?
Just want to shout out to Masterpiece Shitpiece Theater. Because I'm married to him.
We're sorry.
Very nice.
That's important.
But and also to all of us, for meeting and putting this together and creating a fun way to just communicate and express ourselves, and to all our audience that support us. This is a lot of fun.
How about Ams?
Yeah, Night of the Ren just put it into the chat. Shout out to the chat squad. I do appreciate them. I'm enjoying seeing them every single week and coming back. Also, shout out, to all of us, Grims and Anna, and especially you guys have been taking the helm on the producing and really doing all the back stuff. So I do appreciate you guys for that. It's really amazing. And shout out to my family as well, especially my husband. He's been supporting me in this too. So yeah.
Chan?
Well, of course, shout out to you guys because we all wouldn't be here if it weren't for all of us, everybody here. And shout out to JD and the Shelf Gravies and to the Realm for being amazing family. And I guess that'll probably about wrap it up for me.
Right. Sure. So, as always, you can find us at total.package.podcast at Facebook, Instagram, of course, here on YouTube if you're watching us, and then at Twitter, although we're not really using that, so we may have to do something about that. And then if you do not watch us but listen, you can also listen to us on Podbean, Apple iTunes podcasts, and I'm forgetting the last one, Spotify. So you can find us there. And I think we just did Google Play, right? The Play Store. So you can find us there as well. So we're trying to give you any form that you want to watch us. Please. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you once again to the live people there. Very appreciate your chatter and conversations along the way. And I hope that you are all having a great evening otherwise. Goodbye.
Thanks.
Good night.
Bye.